but it is always best to involve kids when you go through things which are going to affect them. I try to move away from lying to the kids and deceiving the kids. Obviously, divorce, losing a house, moving out, waking up one morning and realizing that our family unit is no longer the way it used to be before, it affects them. So I literally just wanted to plant a seed of acceptance in my kids to say, whatever it is that life throws at us, I need you to understand that all these things happen to human beings, and speak to them in a language that they can understand. Try using examples, try using scenarios. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self-Love. If you're joining in for the first time, welcome to the family. Please hit that subscribe button, like, comment and share. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous love and support that you are showing me. Today I'm going to be responding to a comment. This is one of the things that I love doing, engaging with my audience in a form of a video, because some of these comments, you find that you really have to respond to it via like a full video because of the information that you need to put out there, because just one paragraph, I feel like it won't make a difference. So from time to time I do pick one comment and I respond with a video on that comment. And now the funny thing about this video that I'm responding to is actually a video that I posted over a year ago. The video is still getting views even today, and also I do encourage a lot of people to watch that video, especially if you are going through stuff and you're going through divorce, separation and whatnot. I do really recommend that you watch my story times, because I believe that they are timeless and they're ageless, and you can definitely learn something in every season of your life. All right, so the one that I want to respond to is a comment which is recent on the video that I posted last year, like I said, which is the story time of me losing my house. Okay, so the comment that I got was from Kekitso Kekana, who is saying that how are you dealing with the mental health of the kids? Okay, I believe that the mental health of the kids is one very sensitive topic. Now I believe it makes sense why I would want to just make a special video and respond to the mental well-being of the kids, because this is very, very fragile. Okay, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, regarding how you need to tread carefully when it comes to bombarding kids with a lot of traumas, especially during the process of divorce and all that stuff. Because in as much as kids don't speak openly the way that we do, but trust and believe, these are human beings as well, and they do have feelings like we have feelings. And in as much as they can't express themselves, divorce really does affect kids as much as it affects the parents as well. In as much as maybe the kids don't know to the T, the details of what actually led to the divorce, but the fact that a family unit which was whole is now being it's now being torn apart, definitely it has to affect them, because it is affecting their pattern. So I always encourage that it is best to always try to make good memories with the kids, so that that the traumas of just dealing with the process of divorce on its own is not going to take its toll on them, because I believe that as a parent you can't deliberately just watch your kids crumbling to the ground, but at the same time, because of lack of information and knowledge, you might think that, kids are just kids, so therefore I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll explain to them when they grow older. But it is always best to involve kids when you go through things which are going to affect them, and obviously divorce, losing a house, moving out, waking up one morning and realizing that our family unit is no longer the way it used to be before, it affects them, and I trust and believe when you speak to kids in a way that they understand, you make it easy for them to come to you and ask you all sorts of questions. So it is always important to speak to, in as much as sometimes they don't even understand what you are saying to them, say something. When they grow older, they will remember the things that you say to them when they were younger during the whole process, and also try to create as many memories as you possibly can, beautiful memories, because obviously they're going to remember that during the year of 2021, like me, for example, my parents got divorced, but during the year of 2021 there's this and this and this and that also happened, which is beautiful, because I believe that if it's taking its toll on you, it's going to take its toll on the kids. The one thing that I learned from my therapist, because I always talk about how I attend therapy is such a healthy way of doing things, and I recommend it, highly recommend. And especially now that I'm one person who's always speaking to people on a daily basis, I really need multiple sources of just venting and detoxing, because it's a lot, right? when I had conversations with my therapist in the beginning, when I was busy with the process of divorce, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. She was like to me, listen, because of the type of person that you are very open, you are very expressive. Use the same way with your kids and see how they react. And also monitor your kids very closely in terms of how they are reacting, because kids react in different ways. I believe that we've spoken about this a lot of times where we talk about how kids who are being abused sexually, they start urinating and they do all these things. Or when they're just disturbed by certain things, the way they react to trauma, it's different compared to you as an adult. Because when as an adult, you can cry about it, you can talk about it, you can even be diagnosed with depression, you can go get your medication and whatnot, but kids react differently. You get what I mean? So you always have to monitor your kids and monitor all the changes that they're coming with, because sometimes they cry out for help and seek attention in a way that for you it comes across as if my kids are just naughty, and if you check what is happening around them, the changes that are coming in their lives, and you dismiss that, because we do that a lot. We grew up in homes where, as a kid, you literally just exist, but you are not a human being that has a say. You can never be sat down and said and be asked, what do you think about what is happening right now? Are you happy about it? If you're not happy about it, what do you think can be done? And I feel like kids need to be given that opportunity to have a voice and have a say in whatever situation that is happening in their family, to say, what do you think about the situation? And if they don't like it, what is it that you don't like about it? What do you think can be done? So when you involve kids in that way, you create lasting, beautiful memories. Like, in as much as you can't protect them 100% from going through certain things and certain traumas, but you can control it. You can try to minimize it. You can, because I believe that even if you did everything by the book and you checked everything out, kids are still going to grow up and say, listen, I had childhood traumas. I have childhood issues that I need to heal from. Some of the things that kids have to heal from are things that were beyond your control. At least it will be better, because then you would know that the things you had control over, you at least dealt with that. So what I did, I believe this is not the first time, and also it's not the last time, because this is my favorite topic actually. I love talking about the well-being of kids and us as parents helping each other, raise our kids. The one thing that I did was involve my kids from the beginning. I tried to move away from lying to the kids and deceiving the kids. I remember vividly, I did speak about this before, but it's fine, I'll do it again. I remember when I sat down with my kids and I was asking them, do you know why we're moving? After the house was being sold and we're ready to move. And I was like, and before the house was even on the market, right? I was preparing them mentally. I'm like, guys, eventually we're gonna have to move. Even though I didn't know when the house was gonna be sold, I was lucky that the house got sold quicker, because it was in demand. But I was preparing them, even though I didn't know when it's going to happen. I was like, guys, eventually we're going to have to move out of this house. Eventually we're going to have to find a new home. What is it that you want when we move into our new home? What would you like me to do for you when we move into our new home? So I planted that seed for them to understand that I need to prepare them that we're going to move eventually, right? And once that seed was planted, I now started asking, because they were even telling their friends, even at school, like, Mama, I was telling teacher so-and-so that we are moving out of this house very soon. I was like, okay, good. Now it's sinking in, they're understanding that they need to be ready to move, and as much as for me it's not a pleasant thing, they don't know that it's not a pleasant thing. So the next step for me was asking them, do you understand why we are moving? Because I don't want to lie to my kids, and at the same time I never want to have conversations with them, negative conversations about their dad. So with whatever conversations that I would have with them, it would never be about how terrible my ex is or how he contributed to us being homeless and whatnot. No, it would never be about that. It will always be about us, So I remember asking them, I'm like, okay, so do you understand why we are moving out of this house? My youngest was quick to answer. She said, yeah, because Mama, this house is not nice anymore, because this house is old, because this house, the aircon does not work anymore, the geyser does not work, because the geyser was not working. and the aircon was not working in the sitting room. So obviously, because we're planning on moving, we didn't want to fix any of those things. So I was just letting things be, because I was like, no, there's no need for me to even invest in one more cent in this house. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So when they said that they think we are moving out of the house because now it's cold, now the geyser is not working and whatnot, I had to tell them that no, we are not selling this house, or we are not moving out of this house because it's a boring house, it's a cold house, the geyser is not working. We are moving out of this house because that's what happens when people get divorced. And then I had to take them all the way back to remind them, do you remember the conversations we had about divorce, what divorce is and why we are getting divorced? And the works. They'll be like, yeah, we remember that conversation. My son is one who never liked this conversation, but for me, I had to remind him, although it's not a good thing, but I would always remind him and give him examples of some other kids that he knows. Remember your cousin, their mom and dad, they're not together anymore. The cousin had to move with the mom. Yeah, so these things happen. It's not only you who's facing something like this. It happens to a lot of families, but to some families it doesn't happen. So I need you to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. So I would always give him examples with that to say, some families have moms only, some families have dads only, some families have both, and some families, one parent passes away along the way. So I literally just wanted to plant a seed of acceptance in my kids to say, whatever it is that life throws at us, I need you to understand that all these things happen to human beings, and I needed to explain it in a language that they would understand, a kid's language. So when I was talking about us moving, I had to go back to that conversation to say, remember we spoke about divorce, to say divorce is when two people who used to love each other, they don't love each other anymore, so they have to go separate ways. But these two people who don't love each other anymore, it doesn't mean that they don't love you, because I love you, dad loves you, but me and dad, we don't love each other anymore, because remember where I come from, this is my home, this is your dad's home, and then we came together and we got married. So sometimes people who get married, they do something called divorce. So when I now remind them of the previous conversations that we had, he would be like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, I remember. Then I'm like, as a result, we are now moving out of the house. Are you happy? Well, I guess, because we've moved around a couple of times before, but this time around, we are moving around without a father figure. It's just the three of us. So you understand that already the divorce has caused, a change. The environment is no longer the same anymore. So even when we're moving, because in the past when we move, we're moving as a unit, but now we're not moving as a unit anymore. One is staying there, one is staying there, but we still need to make it work. We still need to make the kids understand that this is life and it's okay and it happens to people, right? So after that, I had to explain in detail, okay, so what happens is we have to move, we have to do this, we have to do that. So then I was asking them, so what would you like to have in our new home, because we're definitely moving out of this home. They started saying, okay, I want this, I want that, I want that. So I made sure that I make it exciting for them, for the new home that we're going to, in as much as it was a downgrade, like it was a massive downgrade, okay? But I had to make it exciting for them to say, even though we are downgrading, but kids don't even care about the downgrade. My kids don't even see it as a downgrade. But for me, I know it's a downgrade, right? There are certain things that they wanted in place. They wanted, like, okay, we wanted up and down bed, we want this, we want that, so all the things that I knew that I was capable of giving them in this new home, I made sure that I do that just to make it exciting for them to move in. But also I realized that the place that we moved into, because it's a complex, because we're staying in like a single stand house where, like, when you lock, the gates are locked, there's no going in, there's no going out. But where we're staying now, it's a complex, meaning that they're able to play around the complex as long as they don't leave the gate. They're with other kids, so literally they're enjoying their stay here more than their previous stay. But it doesn't mean that, if life moves in the right direction again and we have to move to a similar place, we're not going to do that, because they're enjoying. Life is that. Life needs you to be flexible. And I think the one thing that makes it very difficult for us to be flexible is because we don't communicate these things. We think that they will grow up, they will figure it out by themselves. Yes, they will grow up, they will figure it out. But can you at least give them a manual? The manual that you know, the best that you know, give it to them. They will decide when they're older whether they want to take everything or they want to take some parts of what you're teaching them. But you need to be open with your kids and speak to them in a language that they can understand. Try using examples, try using scenarios. And it's always best to have this type of engagements when you are having a fun day, a playful day. Because when you are serious, remember, at some point you have to be a parent, you have to reprimand, you have to say, yay, stop what you're doing. So it's not going to be easy for you to have a conversation with your kids that will stick when the environment is like that. So you need to make a playful, a fun environment, an environment where you are running, an environment where you are out in the, in the outdoors, having games and activities and all that stuff. Then those conversations, they actually stick. How do I see that the conversations actually stick? They usually come back and repeat the same thing to me that I said to them. Mama, remember you once said this and that. And these conversations actually come out, they actually come up during other conversations that have absolutely nothing to do with the actual thing. So my way of dealing with the emotional side of things for kids is to always be open. And when they say that they're not happy, because you need to give them a platform to say, so what do you think about what I'm telling you now? Are you sad? Yes. And also, kids have a tendency of also throwing the same thing back at you, because when you go to the kids like, don't do that. One day, a kid will do that to you. Mama, don't do that, So when you throw questions at them, how do you feel about this? What do you think about this? They do the same thing to you. So, Mama, how did you feel when this had to happen, when that had to happen? And you need to be open and honest in terms of you answering them, so that when you ask them the same questions as well, when they respond to you, they will be open and honest. And even if some of the questions that they ask you are triggering and they're upsetting, you have to answer them in a nice way, so that tomorrow when you need to know certain things about where the kids are, they need to openly, answer you as well. So with that being said, I think I will end it right here regarding how to deal with the emotional side of things when it comes to, moving around and separation and divorce with the kids. If you would like me to do a part 2, or if there's any other question that you would like to ask, you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section down below. And also, if you've watched this video up to so far, just give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to my family, please hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think we should be covering next regarding this whole thing, because the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. I literally feel like at this point, it takes the internet, it takes YouTube to raise a child, and we can definitely do this thing together, united via these apps. All right. Love you so much. I'll see you on the next upload. Mwah.